What's going on, YouTube? You're back with Shades, and we're going to continue our Let's Play of Katawa Shoujo. Last time we left off, Misha explained that, like, her concern for Hanako and that, like, she's not very social and that she tends to just leave. And yes, she has special circumstances and she has, like, mental issues, but, like, she would like to see Hanako overcome them. And like Hiso explained that, hey, it's kind of her thing. Like, she doesn't really talk much when we're talking either. But the thing is, like, you can't really make jokes like, oh, we're lovers. Like, it's not really that thing. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll apologize. And like, that was really cool. Like I really like that. But anyway, let's continue, shall we? Shizune appears completely laden with goods from the convenience store. There are some surplus stuff left from the festival. Since this is officially festival business, I've splurged a little. Nice idea, Shi-chan. 10 points. Is that really allowed? For someone who refuses to join us, you seem to take an unhealthy interest in the politics of this council. I shall punish your insolence by rationing your portion off the feast. Fine, I get it. Misha slides the multiple stacks of paper to one side to make room for the avalanche of food Shizune is spreading out. As I watch my hard yet misdirected work become wasted, I realize that it's little wonder why these two need help. The convenience store meal isn't overly tasty, but at least it's very filling. Thanks for helping today. Most of the time we just make up the reports for the staff. This year we can at least make up some relevant headings for on debrief. Are you sure this isn't a corrupt organization? Not at all. We're by the book. It's not our fault if the book isn't specific enough. I thought that was the definition of corruption. You think too much. You know what? You're probably right. Anyway, I must be off. That is, if I'm allowed to leave. Your work has been deemed sufficient. You may leave. Well, thank you. You know, if you stress the free meal side of things over the endless workload side, you'd probably end up with more recruits. You might just have a point. Well, think about it, and think about what we talked about. You don't have to tell that. You don't have to tell that to Shizune if you don't want. What? All right. I'll try to see her tomorrow. Good night, Hichan. Night, Misha. Shizune. Wow, really? I could have just went like 2 more seconds, and like I hate when I do that. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Chirping birds. Normally this would be a good time to reflect upon the beauty of nature, but it's 6 a.m. Covering my head with the pillow, I slam my face into the mattress, hoping that the impact will send me instantly back to sleep. Futile. I toss and turn, but sleep simply won't return to me. Alright, nature, you won. See? I'm getting up now. The lack of sleep weighs my mind down, but there's only one remedy for this, a nice hearty breakfast. It would be nice to be the first person here, to be the first to dig into a piping hot pile of food, to sit wherever I desire. It would have been nice. But even my exceptionally early start has put me behind the most diligent students. I guess there are quite a few people that have early starts here, for one reason or another. A group of students in sports clothes huddle around one table, eagerly discussing the game plans in between inhaling great gulps of food. I do admit, heading to the cafeteria when I dormed like super early, and like being one of the first people there is always nice. It's just quiet. Especially during breakfast hours, because not a lot of people at college go to breakfast. Which you should, by the way. Breakfast is important. Scattered around the hall are a number of bleary-eyed students, probably suffering from the same ailment as myself, noisy birds. And of course, there are people that actually enjoy getting up this early, the ones with their bags stuffed with textbooks and completed homework. It's hard not to despise people like that, even more so when you're tired yourself. Picking out a familiar face from a thin cloud, I head toward the nearest table. Lily sits alone, delicately feeling her way around a small plate of eggs with her fork. It's almost a shame to interrupt her and her clockwork movements. I wonder, is this how a blind person zones out? Simply moving in predetermined patterns learned over the years? Just like how a sighted person would eat while reading a newspaper. Good morning, Lily. I didn't expect you to be here this early. Oh, Hiso, you startled me. I didn't know you took breakfast this early. I don't. This is an exception to the rule. I greatly prefer to be late to school than early to breakfast. Lily gives a small sigh at my admitted tardiness as I begin to eat my food. It doesn't take long for her to lapse back into her previous mindless nibbling. Each short motion lacks energy. I suppose it's similar to letting your eyes wander while performing any ordinary chore. But after a few repetitions of the find food, eat food cycle, Lily puts down her forks and dabs her lips with a napkin. Hiso, do you mind if I ask you a question? Damn, all I want is a little food and about 4 hours of sleep, and nobody says, can I ask you a question for a simple question? Sure. Do you think of Hanako as a friend? Huh, this seems like a leading question. I guess so. Why do you ask? No real reason. I do have another question, though. Why is it that you think of her as a friend? What is happening here? I'm curious. This is well above my level. What is she expecting from me? I'm not really sure. I guess because she's a little different in the way she deals with people. Since I've known her, she hasn't really connected with anyone. She doesn't seem interested in other people, and I think people are a little scared off by her appearance. Really, I thought that kind of thing was, well, discouraged here, discriminating and such. If I were to put it one way. She furrows her brow in a thought, a move which makes me slightly anxious as to what she's plucking from her mind. I'd say that you're a little naive. Naive? I'd be insulted if not for the slightly cynical grin on her face. I see. While Yamako has a stronger sense of community compared to other schools, it's far from being free of conflict. Rules cannot remove human nature. After all, only suppress it. That's something I've noticed, actually. Just little things, like how certain people and cliques avoid each other in hallways. It's no different from my old school, really. Even Lily and Chizne could be considered bitter rivals, even though they both seem like fairly accepting people. Well, at least the Misha-tinted Chizne does. Who knows what actually goes on with her fingers and behind her glasses. I guess you're right, but when I first came here, everything was a bit of a shock. I kept on making mistakes, or at least thinking I was making mistakes, like when we first met, and I said, I see, to you. I didn't know if that was considered rude or anything, so I just kind of tried to put it at the back of my mind, treating people any differently and that kind of thing. So I didn't. I told myself that Hanako and you and everyone else was just normal and tried to ignore the obvious. I talked to Hanako as if she were any other person, and so we became friends. At least that's how I think it happened. But I feel guilty just from saying something like that out loud, as if it took extra effort to think of Hanako or you or anyone in here as normal people. I don't think that's right. Hisao, I think you are naive, but I also think that you are a good person. It is perhaps one of your better traits. I suppose I could take that as a compliment. Tell me, are you free tonight? If you don't count homework, then I'm free as the breeze. In that case, would you care to join myself and Hanako for tea? I don't really have that much money at the moment, and so going out isn't really... Oh, I didn't mean going out. Just here, this evening. You can access the classrooms in the evening here? No, that's not what I meant. Hanako and I often use my room for tea parties together, so please feel free to drop by after dusk. Sure, I see no problem with that. What's your room number? 225. Room 25 on the second floor. Okay, sure. Well then, I best be off. I have class representative duties to attend to, after all. Until this evening, Hisao. Yeah, I'll catch you later. Hang on, was I just invited to a girl's room after hours? Is that even allowed? Scandalous! It's not that scandalous. I've been invited to girls' rooms all the time. I've slept over girls' rooms just because it was fun. Ugh, God. There's the curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-startled. Add that to the lukewarm breakfast and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the rules. I'm such a rebel. Calm down there, badass. I feel like that kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so of hours of lecture, I know which one wins. Misha and Chizne do a little to relieve my boredom either. For once, I seem to be determined to actually complete Mudo's assignments. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. I hurry back to my room and to wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji. Before long, I'm leaving the boys' dorm. I nervously rap on the door marked 225, checking my watch once again. Is that you, Hisao? The door is open. You can come in. Lily's voice lilts the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girl's room after dark. Ooh. Even though I know there's no ulterior motive behind this invitation, it doesn't stop my mind from running wild with possibilities. One guy, 2 girls in a dorm room with a tea set. What could be scandalous about that? Is it the tea set? Is it the tea set that makes it kinky? Is there a tea kink? Is that a thing? When I put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy. How so? Is the tea drugged? Is it drugs? Giving a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put my hand to the handle and open the door, craning my head to see inside. Cuties! Legs. Legs. The door opens completely and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. In the center of the room sits a low table where I see a small tea set at rest. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly excepting the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. My sense of vision is the only one to be stimulated, the faint smell of something that can be picked up in the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup, it's hard to describe it any other way than girly. My eyes finish their quick sweep of the room before returning to position onto the girls. Lily sits next to the table wearing a very, very dark blue... That's black! That is black! Very dark blue pajamas. Dark blue pajamas with shorts that show off plenty of her alluring, pale legs. I see Hisao is a leg man. I am too. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Legs are nice. Opposite her, Hanako sits adorned in her conservative light pink gown. Cutie! Her hands are fixed firmly between her legs, her shoulders forward, and her head down as if trying to hide herself in it. It'll be easier for her to do. It looks about 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannel flow from her frame, making her look like a child playing dressed up in her parents' clothes, and that's why she's cute. I mean, like, people often wear oversized pajamas. My pajama pants right now are too big for me, and they're really comfy. She looks up to confirm my identity, and the beginnings of a thin smile creep across her face before vanishing so fast that I can't be sure if they were ever there. There's no point in you standing in the door, Hisao. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. My, I'm afraid this is really a small room for the 3 of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. Really, man? Really? I get you're in high school, and this is the first time you've seen boobs? But come on, man. To be robbed of sight would be a most terrible fate. Hisao. Naughty Hisao. Well now, how about some tea? Hanako, could you please pour? Sure. Hisao, would you like babaka? I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I really can't blame her for. Been a tiring day? Yeah. I relax at my place opposite of the cabinet. To my left, there's a blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits a pink Hanako. The tea set on the table looks cute as well as practical, painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated-looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. There's a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous. It's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words, and deftly pours the next 2 cups. Here you are, Hisao. Lily. Hanako carefully places the cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. I can get used to a service like this. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Lily searches for a cup, and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. This is nice. It's so different from any tea I had before. It's cocaine! Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns, redoubled. Even with her blighted face, her shy smile couldn't be called anything but cute. You're a sweet baby. I'm glad you like it. Hanako, finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. I think back to my chat with Misha the other day. Is Hanako's behavior something to be concerned about, or is she just shy? Then there was Lily earlier this morning. The concern from both of them seemed to be genuine, and they know the situation better than I. But really, how could I possibly help? I'm no plastic surgeon, so I can't really help her appearance, nor am I a psychologist who can make her more sociable. So what the hell do Lily and Misha want me to do? They want you to love her, as if she were your own. My favorite thing about like that line of thinking is that like legitimately when we were on Lily's route, if you haven't watched it, like this, I played through all the other paths in this game before coming to this one. This is the last one, but like Hisa literally made the comment that like when he was dating Lily, it's like 2 parents with their child, and I'm like, it's not wrong, but it's weird because like she's only like a year or 2 younger than us. I think she is like no, she's the same age as Hisa, and I think Lily's a year older, or are they all the same age? I could be so totally wrong. Actually, no, I think they're all the same age. Why are their blood types listed here? That's so weird. And I like how like Kenji is listed as a minor character. Then why is he everywhere? It's frustrating. Hanako and I are quickly becoming friends on our own accord, and because of that, it's like everyone wants me to solve all our problems. I have no idea how to do that. No one could cure my heart, nor Lily's eyes, nor anyone who is here, in this school. However, I see no harm in becoming better friends with Hanako. Now that she's warming up to me, I kind of enjoy hanging out with her. So, Hiso, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. I'm in a room with two girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. It's never gonna happen again! Ah! Oh god, it's not a big deal. I don't get the big deal. Yeah, it's relaxing. Almost like I'm not in the school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, it's not big a surprise. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako, Lily. You're welcome. Yes, you're most welcome, Hiso. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Always. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Lily lets loose a yawn, which she unsuccessfully hides with her hands. Pardon me, I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. Thank you for your presence, Hiso. Thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. I'm impressed by your determination, Hiso. Either way, you're right. We'd best be going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. I stop and face her. You coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms into a full blush. No, not. This room isn't. It's okay, I was only joking. Oh, okay. Good night. She's so cute! Ah! She's so cute! Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hiso. Night all. And with that, our tea party finishes. I'm still not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I don't want to let her down. I wait till the door closes behind me before turning to Hanako. Hey, Hanako, you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right. We're friends. If you really want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Hanako seems to give a muted laugh, but she could have just easily been exhaling. Good night, Hiso. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room, located next to Lily's. I'm wondering what Hanako's room looks like. I start to walk back to my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. Barely make it to my room before I'm hit with a wave of exhaustion. I kick up my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Oh no, Hiso, are you dying? Please don't die, Hiso, we need you. I pulled my door closed, ready for another day of classes. Sleep well! Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid bumping heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. Does he still have to stand so this close? Oh yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? Have you heard of babies sleep? They scream, all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well ever. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember never to use figures of speech with Kenji. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favor to ask you, but you weren't around. For a split second, I considered telling Kenji the truth, that I was spending time with Hanako and Lily. Thankful that split seconds passes as soon as it came. I was just out, checking out the local area and stuff. Recon. Good man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what's with this favor you wanted? I was gonna get some takeout, but I needed some change. Wait, what? I gave you money last week and you still haven't paid me back. Shh, I was just starting to think you were cool. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. He counts out the 400 yen he owes me. I can clearly see at least two 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off me when you got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, like realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's the tycoon's rule. Last night's dinner was going to cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years! Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole the stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but thankfully I restrained myself. I just sock him and be like, bang! Arguing the point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated discussions. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe we should plan these things a little better. Yeah, man, I know, but I've got so much stuff to do, it's hard. And you're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Kenji crawls close enough to me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. You better, man. You're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. They try to split us up, divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. Now I've got to get going. I got classes. You coming? No, I'm tired. I stayed up all night just to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever. Night. Kenji scurries back into his room and I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. I wonder what his situation is. What are the finer details of his fucking situation? Because I don't get it. He's so dumb. He is the dumbest person ever. I hate him so much. That's why some people can't roll their tongue and why the second toe is longer than their big toe. Muto beams a half-moon smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to a stupor. Why is it that a bad explanation can make even the most interesting things seem worthless? I can see Muto deflate as he realizes that nothing he said in the past half hour has sunk in. Whispered conversations will start to break the silence like an avalanche. The noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Muto identifies some questions from the textbook and sends to clearing off the blackboard. Almost as if expected, Hanako packs up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. The initial shock of seeing someone play so blatantly truant has started to fade, but it still doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her, or is it just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I can think about the topic any further, the lunch bells ring. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamor of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room. While Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. Lily already sits in the tea room, sitting out her lunch, alone. So Hanako's not here then? Oh, Hisao, how are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right, Hanako and Lily live next to each other. Some might think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramblings. That's strange, she left class earlier, so I figured she'd come here. So she's still leaving class early. Huh, yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. I was so sure that she stopped doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about just that today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer someone. I get the feeling. I understand that. Yeah. I have a flashback of my first meeting with her when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't far from the truth. But she seems fine with talking to you, and with me, a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine the first thing most people ask her about is her scars and what happened. She rarely talks about it with me, but I can tell that she doesn't like to remember whatever happened back then. Leaving the class and running away from discussions is a preemptive strike, if you will. Huh, so then how does that explain her talking to me? You said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened herself up to you. I guess you're right. Maybe. I don't know. You know her better than I, so I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. I welcome the prospect of her having new friends, and the two of you have such similar interests. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It's good to have a company, though. That's my point. Hanako is still an average person at heart. She also wants company at times like that. Huh, I see. I think. To be honest, both of you seem to still confuse me a little. It's only natural, Hisao. We've only known each other for a little while. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us just as we can't understand you. But that's half the fun of becoming friends, right? Yeah, it is. Although I suppose there's a matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do often seem to confuse each other quite often. She says that with a light giggle, finding amusement at this odd little detail of life. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. No, go ahead. I think I'll eat something too. I've got books I want to drop back at the library before classes start, so I better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room later tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming? Unfortunately, I have class representative meetings later, so I'll be gone as soon as I finish my lunch. Okay then, if I don't see her at the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat, and I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her being self-conscious about her scars, but that's a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realized that I'm more lost than when I was started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch, acutely aware of her meeting. I don't blame her. Tuesday is most likely going to be there, and I doubt she wants to give her the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow? Same time, same channel. I better head off, too. I don't want to risk being late. Lily smiles gently and picks up her cane and walks out into the hall. And that is where I'm going to have to end this part for now. I'm genuinely curious, because, we've already learned from Lily's route, I think, was when it was said that Hanako is an orphan. So, and now that we know that she has burn scars, we already also knew that she had burn scars from previous routes, but we can automatically assume what happened. There was an accident of some sort. There was a fire. Hanako was the other one who survived, and no, she doesn't want to talk about it. And I'm guessing what's going on in her mind is like suppressed survivor's guilt. She would rather not think about what happened because of the accident, and I don't know what happened beyond that, but there could be more. Because there could always be more, and I'm really curious as to what that more could be. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos from me or from the series, hit the subscribe button. And you're not exiting the Shadyverse. My name is Shades, and I hope you've enjoyed your day in the shades. See you guys next time. Bye.